Hi, everyone, and welcome to the special simulcast of the Neil Haley Show and the Storehouse Media Group podcast. I'm the presenter, Neil Haley. No Sherry today, and that's because it's early in the morning and I just keep grinding. But my guest today is Tam R, the founder of Women Who Bossed Up. How are you, Tam? Thanks for stopping by.
I'm great. I'm so excited to talk to you today.
So, talk about this process, this journey in entrepreneurship. I'm looking forward to hearing about it.
Yeah, so I have been an entrepreneur most of my life. My parents were entrepreneurs. I started this particular business starting around 2000, I would say 17 is when I finished my first book, A Woman's Side Hustle. And from that moment on, I really started to get clear about what I wanted to do. And 2020 created Women Who Boss Up and have created a lot of books and kind of started my journey from there.
And it's interesting. And you chose to work with women. Why?
It's funny because, I went to college for marketing, and most of my background has been in commercial real estate, which is 90% male. I think my personality works well with male. I can bullet point conversations, get to the point really easily. But when I started to look at the need and what I needed that was little different from the males that I was working with, I started to see little nuances about women. Like we couldn't stay after work as easily and go hang out at the bar with the guys. We didn't have this, it was a little different way of doing business. And I saw those little nuances because I was in a male space for a very long time. And I thought, well, how do women network if they have a husband and kids at home? How do they build a business that's different than men? So I started just noticing those things. And as I've been in this business now for a while, there's a lot of things that are different. Not that fundamentally we want anything different, but it's just, little availability times that are different and, seasonal things that are different about women and men and, those kind of things. So that's why I ended up working with women. At first, funny enough, Neil, is I was so petrified of working with women. And I'm a woman. I was so nervous because I wasn't sure how to navigate business and other things, right? So it took me a little while.
And that process, it takes us a while to figure things out. I've been in business 15, 20 years, multiple businesses, and
Mhm.
I finally feel like I have it, but ultimately I'm always willing to learn. And I think when you put a women together as a community and trade war stories and talk about the challenges, you really learn from each other. And that's why a
Mhm.
community, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And a lot of times as you start to if you niche down, if you're in marketing, you have to niche, you have to look at little nuances. And I ultimately realized that if I'm going to really get into the crevices, find the blue ocean, if you want to say it like that, of the nuances of a woman, I have to dial in.
And so talk about what you do. So you have like if a woman that's an entrepreneur business owner wants to work with you, how does this work?
Good question. So the way it started was women coming into their business. We started around this particular business started around COVID. And, a lot of women were kind of displaced. Okay, now what do I do? Now I've been already online. I'd already been a digital marketing person. I already been doing funnels and all the things. But then we had a crisis where people were losing their jobs and having to make new decisions, right? So I started there, helping them to find their voice. We started with Women Who Boss Up books, where we would put 16 women in a book, and then I would help them to market themselves using a book. That's how it all started. So very early stage entrepreneurs. And then you turn that book into a funnel, into a course, into a thing, right? That's where we started, marketing agency. Now that I've been doing this for a while, I'm getting more to where I'm helping women that are at a place where their business is stuck at a gulf. They're stuck. They're like, everything's dependent on me. I've been hustling my way into a bind. I'm choke holding right now. I'm in a place that I cannot move. So now I'm helping them to design the move to the next step, whether they build a team or they get systems and and things like that. So I'm really following a woman's journey. I'm not working so much with the early stage entrepreneur like as much, but more with a woman who is like in a chokehold, who needs to move and
E-
systemize her business.
Exactly. And where do you see that chokehold? What's the process, especially on the marketing side, that you see the issues?
Yeah. So what happens is you learn, like my very first book, this is a good way to explain it. My very first book was a woman's side hustle. And when you first start any entrepreneurial journey, you have to hustle. You have to. You have to grind it out. You have to get in there, like you're saying. You're like, you work all day, all night. That's hustle, right? But then at some point, if the marketing is reporting to you and the tech is reporting to you and everything is has to go through you, and you have a husband and you have a kids and you have all the other things that are going on in the life part of your business, now you're choking out. Okay. So hustle doesn't take you all the way to the end. It'll take you to a place that now you have to redesign it.
And redesign. So you say, so you have a book. So is that still something you do with them as books, or is
I
it
do
more?
some of
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah, I do some books now, but now it's more of I assess where they are and we start to redesign their
I got
business.
it. So
So yeah,
what kind of women entrepreneur business do you like? Is it niche or is it any women entrepreneur business?
no, it's not usually a service based. Right now, I've always had this love for women in real estate because I was in real estate so long, and I see those grinders, hustlers. I see them, those women that know return on investment. They understand all of that. So I love those women. They are always in a they always get themselves into a chokehold because there's just naturally
Oh
hustling.
yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm starting to look at the medical side because there's so many women in the medical businesses. Like
Mhm.
I had a client who was a dentist and she had, oh man, built 3 different locations. She has this big dental practice going on and she can't retire.
Oh
Oh
man.
shoot, I can't sell it. Oh shoot. You see how that goes?
That's
Yeah.
when you need to jump in.
Yes, you need a redesign. Yes.
I get it because ultimately those systems and processes, a business like that, a business like real estate, where you have so many moving parts, and your most important thing is when you are selling a property, it's not doing all those other things. And the same thing in dentist, when you're in the dentist chair, you need to let everyone else handle the rest
That's right.
because you're
That's
worth
right.
so much an hour from that
That part.
close. That's a mistake people make is we don't look at our hourly rate. We don't look, we're
That's
ending
right.
up doing, I'm doing a whole big deep dive with AI saying, okay, what are my highest value things I make as I have my agency does lots on the AI side where a lot of it is AI and thank
Yep.
goodness. But I'm also looking at per client, what am I making hour, looking at all those different things and how can I even look at a different way. Some people who are willing to grind so many days is
Yeah.
different than so this is there's not a one size fits all business entrepreneur, and that's the mistake I made is allowed other people to give advice instead of look at, well, what do I want? And it took me time to
Yeah.
figure out what I want, 15 20 years, and then okay,
That's
I
right.
get that now. But I have to look at what I'm worth every hour I work, and that's
That's
what
right.
anybody has to do and take that. But women, it's hard because they're multitaskers. They get
Yep.
caught up in different things and they don't understand really how many hours they're doing it. And that
Yeah, and
is,
women are motivated differently
yeah.
too. They're motivated. I think the man's dream, because all the male gurus that I've ever listened to want to have passive income. They want to create this business that they don't have to work. They love that conversation. They love that. They love to be able to create a system. Men are kind of made that way. Not saying all men are, but that's just what the male gurus I have listened to my whole life. Women, they don't want to be unneeded some kind of way.
Interesting. See, and or it depends on the person. It depends on the business. Like if you want
It
to
does.
create yourself into a certain level hourly versus having in a large team, and that's the problem. There is no one size fits all, and so many
No,
businesses
that's
fail.
right.
And
So
that's
true.
why you have to get as much information from as many people. And when you find that person that hits, it's perfect. And it looks like you're really niching into those two major areas and more. You talked
Yes.
offline. Can you tell me where you're at? Are you telling people where you're at right
Yeah,
now?
yes.
So
Okay,
why?
so
Why? Yeah.
yeah, because I practice what I preach. So I have a house in Las Vegas. Okay. And I wanted to design my business the way I wanted to live. I wanted to design my lifestyle the way I
I
wanted to.
love
And
it.
I thought about this 2 years ago. What do I really love? To travel. Okay. Can I design my business to where I could travel wherever I want to and still sustain a high revenue business?
I
I
love it. Yeah.
can.
Yeah. Okay.
So now I'm in Malaysia.
Okay. So let me stop you right there. Okay. How fast is the Wi-Fi in Malaysia?
It's excellent. It's faster than it was when I was at home, tell you
And the
that.
cost of living's lower in Malaysia, right?
Way, way, way. Yeah, way.
Okay.
I started off in
But you go
Bangkok.
back to Vegas too. You go back and forth.
Yeah, I go back maybe quite a couple times a year. I have been back once this year, and I won't go back again until next year. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard to go back to, not that I don't love my family and friends and all the people, all the people I know, but I talk to them on Zoom and on phone all the time. So it doesn't feel like I'm anywhere.
All
It
right.
doesn't
Okay.
feel
Well,
like that.
fantastic. Where can people
Yeah.
find information on you? Where can they go?
You can go to womenwhobossup.com. You can also find me online, Tam R Luck, on any of the socials, Tam R Luck, TAMRLUC. And I'll also give you a little link to a free gift you can give to your listeners for a little assessment to figure out where they are. Like
Oh,
what
excellent.
part am I at that chokehold yet? That kind of
Yeah.
thing.
You got to send me that for sure. Or we'll have that in the
Yeah.
show notes. Appreciate it, Tam. Thanks again. All right.
Thank you
That
so much.
and if you're interested in publishing, podcasting, media, go to storehousemediagroup.com. That was a special simulcast, the Neil Haley Show and the Storehouse Media Group podcast. Guys, take care.